In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to create a grid in Xamarin.forms, and I'm also show you how to handle user input through text boxes. My user input will also check to make sure that the user enters in a number, and if they do not, I catch the error and force a number upon them. Okay, so I've deleted what Microsoft gives me in my basic project. Let's throw a grid onto here. Grids have rows and columns. You get to define what you want. You can set a width on these. Star means take what's there. Your choices in the widths are star, some number, or auto. You shouldn't do too many autos. I'm going to create a 2-column 4-row grid. I'm going to make my columns equal widths. I'm going to set them each to 200. This just seems to work nicely on Android. And I'm going to create 4 rows. The first one I'm going to let be as tall as it needs to be with an auto. And the next 2 I'm going to set to be 50. I just chose these numbers. They seem to work. If you don't like the way they look, adjust them. And the last one I'm going to set to be as big as it needs to be. Basically, take the rest. You shouldn't overuse asterisk. You shouldn't overuse auto. The suggestion is to have one of them. Alright, so this builds your grid. And then the side of the grid, you put the objects on the screen in the order that you want them. Okay, so I want labels followed by text box underneath those. I'm going to pull over a label. I'm going to set my label to be hours worked. Now, what's important to build in the grid here is you specify the grid it's in. Grids are 0-based. So I'm putting this in the upper left-hand grid. Underneath it, I'm going to put 2 entries. These allow me to get text entries. I'm going to use a placeholder so they can see what to put in there. And I'll put this into 0. But I'm putting the second row. Remember, they're 1-based, or 0-based, excuse me. Okay, let's run this, see what it looks like. And here it comes. Oh, it's taking longer than expected. There we are. Alright. Okay, for the interest of time, I'm going to do the rest off screen and pick it up in a minute. Okay, so I have my grid. 4 rows, 2 columns. I've got everything to my grid. This box right here will be my output, which is why I named it gross outputs. Calculate and clear. Calculate will take the hours worked times the hours worked. I got to fix that and distribute the gross pay. So that's not hours worked, that is hourly rates. And since I have hot reload, it changes. Okay, so now we need to put some code behind the scenes. Okay, so I'm going to write a function for calculate. I'm going to write a function for clear. They all set the same setup. I like having an individual function for each one of my objects. It helps me clarify it. I have seen some people write an if statement on the sender and figure out which object comes in. There are times that's helpful, but in this case it really doesn't add anything to it. So I'm going to make those clicked events on my buttons. Count pay. Clear. Alright, so basically, whenever you're working with any type of on-screen object like a view, a code like CalcPay is going to do two things. It's going to pull three things. It'll pull the stuff off the screen. It's going to do the math to it and then display the objects. So I'm going to create some variables. Do the math here, and out here output it. I use the object gross output. And I'm going to make it format. I'm going to do it a really quick, easy format. There are better ways to get number formatting. That's a really simple, easy way. What you put inside the quotes there is a format for how you want it to look. Zeros here are numeric placeholders. And the dollar sign will appear. Okay, so I need to do the math. I need also to get the values. Well, the value's pretty easy. That's the basic setup. Unfortunately, rate input's a text. Rate is a double, so I need to convert it. Many ways to do this. I like convert. It's really straightforward. Rate convert.toDouble. Now, if I were to enter something stupid like my name into a rate or an hours, it would throw an error. So I'm going to catch that by surrounding with a try-catch. And Visual Studio will do this automatically for you if you look around. If you're not sure what exceptions an object throws, if you hover over it, it tells you down here at the bottom. I can't highlight in the screen, but you see down at the bottom, exceptions, format, and overflow exception. Format is when you enter in something like Lee for a string. Overflow is when you enter something too big. I'm not sure what too big is for double. It's a pretty big number. So if they make a mistake, I'll set the rate to minimum wage. Likewise for hours. I'm doing them each in their own, so that I could have custom responses. So if they mess up the hours, I'll give them 1 hour of work. I'm not doing anything with format exceptions there. I could respond and output those, but I'm just handling the error. And I'm not going to tell people they made a mistake. I'm just simply handle the error. I'll do the math. Straightforward math is this. Do some simple run. I'll come back and I'll fix my overtime problem here in a moment. Okay, it's up. So let's do the math easy. If I work 10 hours a week at 20 rate, I should get 200 bucks. I do. If I work 50 hours a week, right now straight pay is 1,000. You see the output, it does not put a comma in there. There are other ways to do that number output. But unfortunately, this is incorrect because I didn't calculate overtime pay. So I'm going to do some modification here. So my hours are less than or equal to 40. I am ignoring negative numbers here. I figure if you're dumb enough to put negative numbers into your payroll application, you deserve to pay me to work for you. It's an easy if to pick this up. So if hours less than 40, less than equal to 40, straight pay. Otherwise, take your 40 hours a week. The amount of hours you worked overtime. That's hours minus 40. We'll see here that this didn't update even though I saved it. A restart application will make that happen. And the restart application usually runs faster than stopping and starting. Not always, but usually. You see that was pretty quick. The last time I had to actually pause and wait 15, 20 seconds for it to load. Of course, it's still loading. All right, so let's see if it writes. Before that was 1,000, should be a lot more. Look at that. It's correct. Beautiful. Okay, so you have seen how to build a grid. You've seen how to put objects into the grid. You notice that I have my grid inside of my stack layouts. I could have put stuff above and below this particular grid. I could have also just made grid the layouts. You see how to pull information off of a screen. Since I'm converting to a double, I convert it. If I was just pulling a string into a string function, I don't need to convert. I could have just simply done variable equal. You see a try catch, and you do some simple math. I haven't done clear form yet, but that's pretty straightforward. You can handle that out. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck.